You know who Hannibal is, right?
Yep.
And this is the information I got. Hannibal took a referee in some show, I think in Texas or somewhere, and actually mutilated him with a blade, cut him up, and you were there?
Yep.
What happened there?
All he had gone on. I think he has a form. Uh, he's a different type of guy.
You
First of all,
think? He is.
there was something. Did you know him personally?
Yeah, Hannibal. Yeah,
Yeah. Don't
I
you
know.
think?
I've done his podcast.
You think there's something different?
I think he's autistic.
I was going
That's
to
what
say,
I think because of the way he talks.
yeah.
He talks in a monotone.
I was getting around that by saying I think
Odd.
he's not autistic. Is that he's uh, what's the other one? There's autistic and uh,
Like Asperger's or something.
Asperger's. Yes, thank you. Got caught on the roof of my mouth. Asperger's. And like you said, Dutch, he talked to them even
Monotone.
more toned.
Was he drinking that night too?
Well, listen, he wouldn't. He was a very nice guy to me.
Me too.
Very courteous.
But he's probably heard about our vicious side and how mean we can be. So he probably heard that, backed him off a little bit. But so go ahead. He's a nice guy.
For lunch, we went to a Chinese restaurant.
Later on?
No, this is before.
Yeah, okay.
He was living in Texas for a while.
Yeah.
He was living like 6 weeks, 8 weeks in Texas. He was working. He planned it out famously. He'd work in Arizona. He was working in Kansas City. He was working in New Mexico. He was working in that deep Southwest. So
Now this is recently, right? Within the last 5
Yeah.
years, 4 years? Yeah.
3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So he said to me, I've talked to the referee. He wants to get blood,
Mm-hmm.
but he is afraid to. I said, well, that's it, leave it alone. He said, no, I just got to let it back from here, take a look at this. And it was very strangely worded too. So I said, okay. So he goes in and we have lunch, and we have all kinds of food because he picked me up at like 11. We weren't going on till 11 o'clock. So after the match, after dinner, rather, he drops me off at my hotel. His girlfriend is there, his valet, and he introduces me to her. She's a very nice girl, and I don't see her anymore. As the time goes on, I want to know where he wants me because I got to know where the finish should be. I know there needs to be in the far right-hand corner with an older camera. Because it's being heavy, he's going to have someone carry the cords for him. And I said, man, where is he? She came up to me and she used the word that I haven't heard since high school. She said, I hope he's not as drunk as a skunk.
And where was this? At the matches or?
I said, "Oh, don't tell me that." She said,
Who was he working with that night? You remember?
"I think it was
It was
Ricky.
it was Carlito, I think, that night.
Carlito. I knew it was
Mhm.
it was Carlito or
So after the match, let's get after the match, and he grabs that referee. And didn't you go out there and did you ever go to the ring?
I went to the ring.
Yeah.
Tried
To pull him out, to pull him off, settle him down or whatever. Something happened.
Try to pull him off.
Yeah.
So pulling him off, the referee had a couple of friends there that jumped in and knocked him off of him. Knocked Hannibal off the referee.
Yeah.
There was a stretcher there. They got the guy on the stretcher. He again attempted to get back on. I said, "Hey, calm down, calm down. You got this guy down, alone. You got to let this guy alone." He said, "Oh yeah, I got it." But the thing that amazed me is they got him into the. If you saw the whole thing, you would think that this was a prearranged plan to get him in, like you would at an angle.
Yeah.
It's like an angle.
Yeah.
It was a shitty thing to do because he
trusted him. The referee trusted him.
What?
The referee trusted him.
And he
right?
couldn't
Yeah.
use himself. And the other thing was he couldn't have trusted him. He trusted him with his life, and that was the wrong thing to do.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
whose idea was that? Hannibal's?
Yeah. He thought he was going to bring back pro wrestling as he saw it as a kid. He thought this is
These nuts.
Revive pro, and they won't be able to tell you if it was a boy,
yeah,
a boy or a girl, or a to have matches. And be able to have the people.
Could you imagine him back in the territorial days? How the guys would be on him?
Oh,
because we had to entertain ourselves.
Right.
So a lot of times we entertained ourselves at the expense of one of the other guys. Now, I was always kidding, but I could see some of these guys would get bothered. They would drive Mr. Hannibal completely crazy. He'd leave. Sean, James, you got any questions for Kevin?
No, I've got a request from you. Don't call me Sean.
I'm sorry. I don't know why I called you Sean.
You have flashbacks.
Well, I do. Why? Because I've been no, not that Sean. I've been dealing with another Sean. It's about a whole separate deal. So anyway, you have any questions for him?
Yeah, just as a follow up to that, and I'll ask you a couple more, just to sort of wrap it up, really, Kevin. Hannibal then came out and said he tried to make an excuse about stabbing the referee in the head dozens of times by saying he couldn't see through his own mask. And I think that was the best sort of excuse that he could come up with. Do you buy it?
No, I mean, here's the thing. It was difficult to see through it, but are you trying to tell me that's the first time you put the mask on? There was a huge gape hole in it.
Was it a lot of blood?
On his head? Oh,
yeah.
You know what's crazy? It didn't come right away. Like the time about the Japanese guy.
Yeah.
It didn't, it wasn't a lot of blood, but then it started to bleed. His was almost no blood at all, right? And then it was like it seemed 4 or 5 minutes later, it poured blood. It was crazy.
Was the referee scared?
At first, he wasn't.
Till he got poked. till he got stabbed a couple of times.
And he
Oh, goddamn.
the hand grenade went off in his hand. You know what I mean?
Oh, my God. So where was that? That was in Texas, right?
San Antonio, yeah.